Hey, everybody, welcome to the Not Move podcast. We'll be covering some MLB today. It is August 4th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Excuse me. 5 p.m. Eastern Time, August 4th. I'll give people a couple of minutes to join before we get started. I would like to say that I've received a couple of messages the past couple of days about people asking if they want picks, sports picks. Just wanted to let you guys know that I do not sell sports picks. I used to, but I stopped that for several reasons. The main reason is so I can talk freely about sports on the air. I wasn't able to talk as free whenever I sold picks because um, people were paying for that information. So it was like walking on eggshells almost. Live live streaming. So yeah, first thing I like to do is talk about weather. I like to use rotogrinders.com and swishanalytics.com for those updates. So Milwaukee at Atlanta. They have this game highlighted yellow, which means basically there's some risk for a delay, possibly even a postpone. So looks like that's the only game that's in jeopardy right now to play tonight. But it looks like, they're saying that they're optimistic that they'll be playing this game tonight, but there is a chance for a delay in this Milwaukee at Atlanta game. And we'll go over the wind and whatnot whenever we get to good home run parks. But let me just see if there's any major wind on any of these games today. Looks like Milwaukee and Atlanta. Speaking of that game, they have some wind going from left to right towards that first base line at about anywhere from looks like 9 to 10 miles per hour, 9 to 11 miles per hour. Blue Jays and Rockies. So that's a good home run hitting park, from my understanding, specifically for left-handed hitters. But this wind is blowing out towards um, left center field. So that could even, carry a couple of balls for the right-handed hitters. Um, yeah, about 10 miles, 11 miles per hour. So that's pretty significant. Uh, Added with the altitude there in Colorado. Look at some of this other stuff. All right. So the first game that we can cover here is Minnesota at Detroit. So I was under the impression that Adams was going to be starting pitching in this game, and then I got some late news that it looks like it might be Darren McCoffin. Let me read what they have here on RotoWire.com real quick. Okay, it's still saying that Adams is likely to function as an opener. Um, Look, I wouldn't be surprised to see Adams in this game. Okay, and that's who I was expecting to start this game. This other guy that they have projected in the lineup looks like they just brought him up from AAA. All right, so Adams, anyways, right-handed pitcher that may be playing for Minnesota Twins today. He hasn't pitched versus Detroit this season. Minnesota is 0-1 on the road with Adams this season, but he didn't even start that game. Minnesota lost that game by exactly two, but he didn't start. His average pitch count is 59 this season. He's worse against left-handed hitters, batting average and home run wise, but there's a really small sample size in regards to that. Let's see here. I also just want to mention a couple of other things real quick. So the Minnesota Twins have a 2-4 record during Monday road games and lost all of those games by 2+ runs. And here's an interesting trend that I found today. Detroit has a perfect 6-0 record in Monday home games and won all of those games by 2+ runs. So I thought that was pretty cool when I stumbled upon it. If you're thinking about Detroit today, I mean, you got that trend going for you. They are 6-0 in Monday home games and won all of those games by 2+ runs. Now, this ballpark, I'll come back to the home run hitters for this game in just a second. Let me go over the projected starting pitcher here, Casey Mize, right-handed pitcher for Detroit. He pitched at Minnesota. Now, this game's in Detroit, but he pitched at Minnesota. Um, he pitched at Minnesota on April 13th, and Minnesota won that game 5-1. Mize had 5.2 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 4 earned runs allowed, 2 home runs, and 3 strikeouts. So Minnesota kind of got the best of him in that game. But if we look, excuse me, Tigers versus Twins on 4/13, I'm thinking that the Twins may have had a little bit different of a lineup in that game than they do today. They had Julian in, and he's not projected to be in there today for the Twins. They had Buxton, who's not projected to be in there. Ty France, who's not projected to be in there. Uh, Bader. So this is a different look for Mize today. So Minnesota once again did uh, knock him around a little bit in that game in April, but anyways. Now he also pitched versus Minnesota. So that this game was in Detroit. He pitched in Minnesota versus Minnesota on June 28th, and Detroit did win that game 10-5. He threw 6.2 innings, 5 hits allowed, 2 earned runs allowed, 1 home run, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Now we mentioned that Detroit 6-0 in Monday home games and won all of those games by 2+ runs, but Detroit is also 6-2 at home with Mize pitching this season and won 5 of those games by 2+ runs. Now they did lose both of those games by 2+ runs. So if you were thinking about Minnesota, maybe alt one -1.5, you got that going for you. Mize, his average pitch count this season has been 81, but in the last 5 games, it's been 65. It's been 65. He didn't pitch too much here in this game against Arizona, his last outing. Honestly, in his last 3 outings, he hasn't made it further than the 4th inning. So I'm thinking that, there is definitely potential for these bullpens to come into play today. Um, Minnesota ranks 23rd with the bullpen ERA this season. Detroit ranks 21st. So Detroit slightly has a better bullpen than them in regards to ERA, right? Now, Mize is worse against right-handed hitters, batting average, and home runs. And from my understanding, so I look at 2 different sources that tell me if a baseball park is good at hitting home runs or not. So on one of those sources, it ranks it the 10th best home run park for right-handed hitters, and that's baseballsavant.mlb.com. And then Swish Analytics has this ballpark for right-handed hitters. It ranks it at average. Minnesota ranks 13th in team home runs this season. Detroit ranks 8th best in team home runs this season. And we'll get to those home runs in just a second. I do want to go over these run line trends real quick. So Minnesota, after a win, has the 16th best run line record in baseball. Detroit, after a loss, ranks 25th on that run line. Minnesota, as a road underdog. Let me see where they rank here. A road underdog, Minnesota. They're pretty good. They're above average. They have a 24-12 run line record as the away underdog, and then as a home favorite, Detroit is second best in baseball. So I would give Detroit the run line trend advantage. I would give Detroit also. I like how their batting average. Some of their players, I like their batting average against right-handed pitchers more than I like Minnesota's batting average against the right-handed pitching Mize today. Stolen bases. Minnesota doesn't steal a whole lot of bases, and Detroit's good at base stealing prevention. Detroit doesn't steal a lot of bases either, uh, but Minnesota is worse at that base stealing prevention. So overall, I would have to lean with Detroit here, -1.5. I see some good trends working for them, and I like their bats in regards to batting average more than I like Minnesota's today. Maybe if like Buxton was in and a couple other players, but it doesn't look like they're in the starting lineup today, according to RotoWire.com. And I find that to be a pretty reliable source when it comes to starting lineups. All right, so this is on the radar to be a home run park, so we might as well look into it a little bit. Once again, I'm thinking Adams might be coming in this game at some point. 31% of the time he throws a four-seam fastball, okay? And I'm looking for a right-handed hitter specifically for Detroit. Now, what I will say is Adams doesn't have a high home runs per nine inning average, so he's not allowing a ton of home runs, but small sample size. This isn't necessarily a game, that I would be looking to target a home run hitter, but it's doable. The home run can be hit in any ballpark, right? But statistically speaking, I'm thinking Torres, but he doesn't have the greatest slugging percentage off right-handed pitchers. I mean, it's at 399. Let me see what Dingler's is real quick. Dingler. So I'm looking for a right-handed hitter. Excuse me. Right-handed hitter. He's slugging at a 388. I mean, Torkelson, 427. The only reason why I didn't look at Torkelson is because his batting average isn't the greatest against right-handed pitching. But honestly, out of Torres, Dingler, and it's Torkelson, he has the best slugging percentage. But let's go see who has the best slugging percentage on the Detroit Tigers against that 31% used four-seam fastball that Adams throws with. Torkelson, 648. Torres, 491. And once again, we mentioned this, I believe, on the last show, but, slugging percentage basically measures a player's power. And a good slugging percentage is anywhere between 450 and 550. Anything above 550 is often considered great, according to this source that I'm looking right here. Okay, so Torkelson, 648 slugging off that four seam fastball. Now, Adams, 22% of the time he throws a slider. So we can kind of just go see who's slugging good off that slider. That's a right-handed hitter, Torkelson. So although Torkelson doesn't have the greatest batting average against right-handed pitching, I would probably have to lean towards him today, and that's really no surprise, right? Um, but if it wasn't him, maybe um, uh, Torres or Dingler. Probably Dingler. Torres. Mm, just kind of a coin flip there. Anyways, same thing. I just wanted to reiterate that Adams is worse against left-handed hitters, batting average and home run right wise. So it's not the greatest situation, but it can happen, right? Okay, so Mize is worse against right-handed hitters, batting average and home runs. The pitcher for Detroit today. His home runs per nine inning average is sitting at 1.1, which I've seen that number be higher with some pitchers, but uh, it's higher than Adams's home run per nine inning average. Now, is there any like right-handed hitters for Minnesota that I would possibly be interested in? I mean, Royce Lewis is really the only guy. And Jeffers is slugging 400 off of right-handed pitching. I don't know what Royce Lewis is slugging off right-handed pitching, but we can find out real quick. I'm using fangraphs.com for this. So let me go over to Minnesota. Royce Lewis is only slugging 386 against right-handed pitching. Now, against the 33% used four-seam fastball that Mize likes to rely on, let's go see what these guys are slugging against that specific pitch. And I'm looking for okay. Royce Lewis, 449 against the four seam is what he's slugging. And that four seam is my most used pitch. And then what's the other one? Jeffers is who I'm looking for. Jeffers is slugging better than Royce Lewis against that, 489. Let's go check against that split finger. Buxton. Now, usually against the splitter, there's less, there's a smaller sample size, but Buxton is slugging great off of that 1.429. So it looks like he's had, 10 plate appearances and has had one home run off of that split. So, anyways, I would probably, what is Jeffers slugging against that? Oh, 167 against the split. So that's ugly. Hopefully Jeffers doesn't have to go up against that splitter and he can catch a four seam. I'd probably have to lean towards Jeffers here, but if you wanted to go Lewis, I'd understand that as well. All right, moving on. San Francisco and Pittsburgh. Um, okay, on this day in 2007, Barry Bonds tied Hank Aaron's home run record of 755. So on August 4th of 2007, Barry Bonds tied Hank Aaron's home run record. Now, San Francisco did lose that game 3-2 to the Padres. San Francisco has a 2-4 record in Monday road games. Pittsburgh is 5-1 in Monday home games. Now, when we're looking at run line trends, where did that go? Here it is. Okay. Pittsburgh, after a win, ranks eighth best in baseball on that run line. San Francisco, after a win, ranks third worst in baseball. So that's a pretty big difference there. Pittsburgh, in that regard, has an advantage. And then San Francisco, as a road favorite, is below average. They're 9-16 on that run line. And then as a home favorite, or as a home underdog, Pittsburgh Pittsburgh is above average. They rank ninth best, 22-9 on that run line. So I would say Pittsburgh has the advantage with the Monday home game trend. They have the run line trend advantage. I also think if you're into like public splits, people are going to look at San Francisco and see Verlander and think, yeah, let me take Verlander. It's a big name. So Verlander is the projected starting pitcher here for San Francisco, and he pitched versus Pittsburgh on July 29th, and Pittsburgh won that game 3-1. So Pittsburgh already beat him this year. He pitched 5 innings, 6 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 1 home run allowed, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. Now I mentioned that San Francisco's 2-4 in Monday road games with Verlander, and that's not just like run line or anything. That's just win loss. But San Francisco is 2-6 on the road with Verlander this season. Now they did win both of those games by 6+ runs. Then they lost 4 out of the 6 games that they did lose by 2+ runs. Verlander's pitch count isn't what it used to be. It's at 85 this season, 83 in his last 5 games. He's worse against right-handed hitters in regards to batting average and home runs. I think there's a possibility that Pittsburgh draws some walks in this game. He has a 3.4 walks per 9 inning average, and usually when a player gets to 3.5 is whenever that rings some alarms for him to walk the opposing team. But also Pittsburgh ranks 14th in team walks per game. Pittsburgh's also a good base stealing team. They rank 10th in stolen bases per game, but San Francisco's been doing good at base stealing prevention. They rank 7th best in stolen bases allowed per game. What I will say is that I like to use this source, and I'll just type it into my search engine here: net bases prevented, MLB. It takes me to that baseballsavant.mlb.com source. And it kind of just tells you how to read this chart here. From my understanding, Verlander hasn't been like too great against runners advancing on the bases this season. But he hasn't been terrible. He's got a -1 net bases prevented mark. So, from my understanding, there could be some stolen bases by this Pittsburgh team if they can get some guys on there. With that being said, Oviedo is the projected starting pitcher here today for Pittsburgh. All right. He hasn't pitched this season and will likely face workload restrictions according to rotowire.com. He'll likely face workload restrictions. With that being said, it's important to know what this Pittsburgh bullpen is about. They rank 14th in bullpen ERA. So they're not the greatest, not the worst, just about average with that bullpen ERA. I do want to also note that San Francisco ranks 5th in bullpen ERA. So if I were watching a show like this, before that show, if I had time, I would try to like research opposing bullpens. That's what I would be doing. And I think like a good source for that is rotowire.com. It says bullpen usage by team. It'll tell you the players in that bullpen, what day they pitched, how many pitches they threw, because bullpens are such a big part of baseball. We talk about this bullpen ERA is good, but there could be one of their weak links coming into pitch tonight. So I think that keeping up on bullpen is super important. What else about this Oviedo guy? So he hasn't pitched this season. Since 2023, he's worse against left-handed hitters' batting average and home runs. I don't know if he walks a lot of guys or not. If he does, he may be in trouble because San Francisco ranks fifth in team walks per game. With that being said, San Francisco is not a great base stealing team. They rank second worst in stolen bases per game. Pittsburgh is above average in stolen bases allowed per game. They rank 12th. Pittsburgh's starting lineup isn't out yet. Usually, teams that are starting here within an hour or so, the starting lineup is out. So I don't know if I feel too comfortable giving a prediction quite yet. Let me just make sure some guys are in here for San Francisco. Yep. Okay, so I think I'll probably just wait, refresh the page, come back to this game, the San Francisco and Pittsburgh game, to get my prediction in. But I'm thinking Pittsburgh um, on the run line plus 1.5 here. I like how they are 5-1 in Monday home games. I like some of their run line trends a lot more than San Francisco's. I like the fact that they have beat Verlander already this year by a final score of 3-1. What I don't like is that they have a guy who hasn't pitched this season projected to start, right? So that would just be the way that I'd be leaning in this game. But I'll come back to it. Because that's the starting lineups are so important, which is why I don't do these shows at 10 a.m. I wait for these lineups to start coming out. All right, so Houston at Miami. Miami, man, they're fun. They just swept the Yankees, so they're hot right now. Um, Speaking of being hot right now, let's just take a look real quick. And I'm sure if you're watching this show, you probably already know who's hot and who's not. The Red Sox have won 5 games in a row. Let's see some other hot teams here. The Marlins have won 5 games in a row. The Nationals have lost 5 games in a row, but I don't think they play today. We'll see. Um, Throughout my research, I don't think they play today. And then the Brewers are on a 3-game winning streak. Other than that, winning streaks are pretty much capped at that, or losing streaks. All right. So Houston and Miami, we got Jason Alexander versus Sandy Alcantara. So Miami, um, we mentioned this on Friday or Saturday or Friday's show that they have the best run line record in baseball. They also rank first on the run line after a win. Houston, after a loss, ranks 24th on that run line. Houston, as a road underdog, does rank third best in baseball on that run line. And then Miami, as a home favorite, uh, is 1-8 on the run line. So they rank second. They rank second worse. The only team worse than Miami as a home favorite this season on the run line is Washington. 0-9 for Washington. Anyways, Alexander, right-handed pitcher, is projected to be pitching for Houston today. He hasn't pitched against Miami this season. Houston has a perfect 2-0 record on the road with Alexander, but he only started one of those games. All right. Now Houston won by 10 plus runs in both of those games. His average pitch count this season is 41. Excuse me, 48. But it's been 81 in his last 5 games. This Alexander guy. Um, let's see. Some of these games, the last 4 games, he's gone 6 innings, 3 innings, 6 innings, 4.2 innings. Houston does have the third ranked bullpen ERA. If he does end up coming out of this game a little bit early. This is not on the home run radar for me. Now, once again, a home run can be hit in any park, right? But I'm not going to be covering home runs in this game unless somebody has a specific comment or question about that. All right. Now, this guy's worse against left-handed hitters in regards to batting average and home runs allowed. He walks a lot of people. 4.9 walks per nine inning is his average, and he allows some home runs. 1.8 home runs per nine innings. So he's definitely capable of walking guys and throwing home runs. With that being said, although he does have an extremely high walks per nine inning average, Miami ranks 21st in team walks per game, so they're below average at drawing walks. Miami is a good base stealing team. So if they get on base through walks or hits, I think they can swipe some bags today. From my understanding, Alexander's not the best at preventing base stealing. On that net bases prevented chart, he has a zero next to his name, which is not good or bad, just kind of average. But what I will say is that Houston allows the second most stolen bases per game this season. Miami, once again, ranks 12th in stolen bases per game. Let's talk a little bit about Alcantara, right-handed pitcher for Miami today. Hasn't pitched against Houston this season. Miami has a 6-6 home record with Alcantara on the bump. He only won two of those games by by exactly 2 runs. So if you were thinking maybe Miami minus 2.5 today, he's pitched 12 games at home this season with Miami, and 4 of those victories were by exactly 1 run, and the other 2 victories were by exactly 2 runs. 4 out of the 6 games that they did lose at home with this guy were by 3+ runs. His average pitch count is high, and that's important because Miami does have a below average bullpen ERA. It ranks 17th. Alcantara is worse against right-handed hitting batting average, but he's worse against left-handed hitters hitting home runs. His walks per nine inning average is right at that 3.5 threshold. That raises some alarms. So I want to know if Houston's good at drawing walks. No, they're not. They rank 27th in team walks per game. Now, if Houston gets on base, there could be some problems for Miami. Now, Houston is not a great base stealing team, but they may try to be a little bit more aggressive today if they get on base because, from my understanding, Alcantara is terrible at allowing stolen bases. Also, Miami as a team allow the most stolen bases per game. But once again, Houston's not the Tampa Bay Rays, where they rank first in stolen bases per game. No, Houston ranks 25th in stolen bases per game, so they're not great at that. But if I'm Houston today, I'm probably trying to look to attack those bases a little bit more. So when I'm looking at these starting lineups here, let me just double check to make sure that all the guys that I think or that I have my eye on are in or out of this game. Okay. Um. Hmm. So Houston's the road underdog. I would say Miami has the run line trend advantage. Man, these games have been close. What did we read earlier? Miami, weren't they? really bad though. No, I think I just misspoke. They were really bad. Yeah, yeah. As a home favorite, 1-8 on the run line. That's ugly. I know they're hot right now, but did the Astros cool them off a little bit here today? I like how the Astros bats in regards to batting average match up more against the right-handed Alcantara than uh, the bats for Miami match up against Alexander. I like Houston's bullpen. Um, they are a perfect 2-0 on the road. I know that's a small sample size with Alexander, even though he only started one of those games. I did like Miami on Friday, on Saturday, um, even yesterday. I'm going to be leaning towards Houston in this one, plus 1.5. Once again, I'm not going to talk about home runs in this one because, from my understanding, this isn't on the two sources that I look at. This is not an ideal spot for home runs to be hit. But if I were to go with a home run hitter, Alexander, the projected pitcher for Houston, has a worse batting average against lefties and home runs against lefties. His home runs per nine inning is high. I would probably look for a left-handed Miami Marlin. Probably, you know, Stowers, to be honest with you. But all right, let's move on here. Baltimore and Philadelphia. Let's see if Pittsburgh's lineup has been dropped yet. Nope, haven't seen it. All right, Baltimore and Philadelphia. Um, all right, so Baltimore's 2-3 in Monday road games. Philadelphia's 4-2 in Monday home games. This is a good ballpark for left-handed hitters to hit home runs. And it might not be terrible for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. Baseball Savant has this park listed as second best for left-handed hitting home runs. Whenever I filter it the way I want to, which is the rolling years is just one. Um, and then Swish Analytics ranks this ballpark for left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters as above average. Now, Baseball Savant ranks this ballpark 13th best for right-handed hitters for home runs. So I would have liked that to be a little bit higher, but it's still okay. Now, before we get into the home runs in this game, which we will talk about, let's look at the game itself and maybe some wind. We talk about this on shows. Winds that are 5 miles per hour can help carry a ball an extra 19 feet, 20 feet or so. So looks like the wind is blowing towards straight center field, 3.6 miles per hour. So that's not, too significant, but it's not detrimental to these hitters here today. Let me close some of these tabs, and then let's talk about the run line trend. So Baltimore as a road underdog. Baltimore as a road underdog is on the run line. They are the seventh worst run line record team in baseball when they're a road underdog. And then Philadelphia as a home favorite is eighth best on that run line. I would give, and then I already know Philadelphia ranks 23rd after a win on the run line. Um, and Baltimore ranks 18th. So overall, I would give Philadelphia, just based on those four searches, Philadelphia the run line advantage here. So Povich, left-handed pitcher for Baltimore today. Hasn't pitched against Philadelphia this season. He's returning from the 15-day IL and threw 86 pitches in his most recent minor league game, according to rotowire.com, ROTO wire.com. This may allow him to avoid workload restrictions, is what they're saying on that website as well. Not only is Baltimore 2-3 in Monday road games on that money line, but they're 2-3 on in road games with Povich pitching as well. And they only won both of those games by exactly 1 run. So I know some people like to, take what they may think is a safer play here, or maybe just like stack some plays. Philadelphia plus 1.5. Hold on real quick. You got a comment? Okay. So Philadelphia plus 1.5. Obviously you'd have to move that line a little bit, but if you wanted to do that, Baltimore is 0-5 against that plus 1.5 with Povich on the road this season. Now, Baltimore did lose all of those games by 3+ runs. So if you're thinking Philadelphia today, you got that going for you. Povich, 87 pitches in his last 5 games. His pitch count, both of these guys, Luzardo as well, the opposing pitcher, the pitcher for Philadelphia, both of these guys have pitch counts at 87 in their last 5 games. So I think it's important for these guys to get near that range again so they do not allow these below average bullpen ERAs to play a factor in this game. So Povich is worse against right-handed hitting, batting average, and home runs. All right. Now, I was looking for a lefty in this game. But both of these pitchers are actually worse against right-handed hitters in regards to batting average and home runs. Luzardo is much worse against right-handed hitters in regards to batting average and home runs. Povich is worse against them. Povich is throwing a lot more home runs per 9 innings. He's at 1.4. Luzardo's at 0.7, so he's not throwing a whole lot of home runs. So I would probably be looking for probably a right-handed Philly today. Now let's go see who has the best slugging percentage out of the guys I have listed here. I have some guys listed that have a pretty decent batting average on the Phillies against left-handed pitchers. So I want to see who has the best slugging percentage out of these guys. Schwarber, I mean, this is a good ballpark for left-handed hitters. He's slugging 639 off of left-handed pitching, but he's a lefty. Okay. And if you wanted to go that route, I can't blame you. But I'm looking for more of a right-handed hitter here. Um, Bader. I don't know what Bader's slugging real quick. Let me try to find this real quick. Against lefties. I got a lot of these guys' slugging percentage down, but some of these guys I don't. Harrison Bader slugging 434 off lefties, according to Fangraphs.com. So a right-handed hitter that's slugging better looks like it's going to be Sosa and Castellanos. Sosa and Castellanos. So who has more home runs this year? Sosa only has 4. So if you wanted to go real sleepy, okay. Castellanos has 15 home runs this season. Now, do any of these guys have a home run off of Povich? Let me go take a look. Doesn't look like anybody has any history against Povich, okay? And then what about the um, Povich uses the four seam fastball. He's used it 37% this year. So he's relying on that more than some other pitchers rely on their most favorite pitch. So Baltimore Orioles. Let's update this. Oh, excuse me, Philadelphia Phillies against who's slugging the best off the four seamer now? Schwarber. I mean, 712, and then Harper. But as a right-handed hitter, Trey Turner is slugging 483. It's not great. It's not terrible against that four-seam fastball. Now he does have a 411 slugging percentage against left-handed pitching as well. Castellanos slugging 397 against that. And what about the curveball? Castellanos 378. Trey Turner only 240. So I'd probably have to lean towards um, Castellanos for my home run hitter for the Phillies today. Some other noteworthy mentions, I think, is our Schwarber and Turner. All right. Anyways, let's get back to the game here real quick. Luzardo, left-handed pitcher, hasn't pitched against Baltimore this season. Philadelphia has a 6-5 record at home with Luzardo this season. They won 3 out of 6 of those games by 2+ runs. The other 3 they only won by 1 run. So half of their wins at home with Luzardo have been by 2+ runs. The other half have only been by 1 run. Then 3 out of the 5 games that they did lose at home with Luzardo pitching, they lost those games by 2+ runs. The other 2 they lost by exactly 1 run. Much worse against right-handed hitting, batting average, and home run I'm seeing for Luzardo. All right. So 2 guys on my list that I got here that have decent batting averages for Baltimore against left-handed pitchers are Westberg and Adley Rushman. Luzardo's not allowing a whole lot of home runs this season, though. Let's go check out who's slugging the best for Baltimore against the 35% used four-seam fastball by Luzardo. Rushman 444 slugging against that four-seam fastball. Rushman is only slugging 388 against left-handed pitching this season, though. Westberg, not a great slugging percentage against that four-seamer as well. What about the sweeper? Which Luzardo, that's his second most used pitch. 27% of the time he's throwing that. Not great slugging percentage from either of these guys against that sweeper either. And honestly, not a not a big sample size. But I guess I'd have to go with Westberg. See Westberg. How many home runs does Westberg have this season? 12. Rushman has 8. Yeah, I guess Westberg would be the way I'd lean towards that. But here's another thing, guys, about Philadelphia taking a home run hitter possibly for them. Let's say that they don't get one against Povich. This Baltimore bullpen. Now both of these bullpens have bad bullpen ERAs, but uh, the Baltimore bullpen has allowed the 4th most home runs this season. So I think it's looking better to me to take a Philly here than a Oriole. And I say this on other show, on previous shows as well, guys. If you're going to tail what I'm saying, please do so at your own risk, and please be responsible with all this. And then, if you don't believe in analytics and stuff, and you just want to fade, and if that's your style and that's working for you, uh, more power to you. If you're just wanting to combine this with your own research, which is what I would do if I came across a show like this, um, you know, more power to you. But I appreciate you guys for joining, regardless of what you're doing. All right. And once again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. You can always send me a message. I'm on a bunch of different platforms. You can also message in chat here. Now, if you're trying, now, I think the best way to message me is either through the Kick app or YouTube, from my understanding. Okay. So if you're trying to message, on any other platform than that, it's most likely that I'm not seeing it. All right. So with all that being said, I think Philadelphia has a base stealing advantage in this game as well. Um, they rank seventh best in stolen bases per game. Baltimore ranks 17th in stolen bases allowed per game. So Baltimore is slightly below average in regards to base stealing prevention this season. And then Baltimore is ranked 16th, so right about the middle of the pack in stolen bases per game. But Philadelphia ranks eighth in stolen bases allowed per game. I would just give Philadelphia a slight advantage here. I really like the way the Phillies are matching up against Baltimore today. I like some of the trends that I've seen. I'm gonna have to lean towards the Phillies on the run line in this one. All right. Let's see if that Pittsburgh game got updated yet. Nope. Still waiting for a lineup for Pittsburgh. All right. Now the game you all have been waiting for. The Kansas City Royals and Boston Red Sox. All right. So Kansas City is better in Monday road games. They have a better record in Monday road games than Boston does in Monday home games. Kansas City's 4-2 in Monday road games. Boston is 4-3 in Monday home games. Now, to Boston's credit, they have played one more Monday home game than the Kansas City Royals have played a Monday road game, but Royals technically do have the better record there. Boston has a better run line record. Both of these teams won their last game. Boston has a better run line record after a win. They rank 11th than Kansas City does. Kansas City ranks 21st on that run line after a win. Kansas City as a road underdog. Last time I saw, they were a road dog. Kansas City as a away underdog. Kansas City Royals have the fifth best record in run line record in baseball. They're 33-14 as a road dog on that run line. Fifth best record. And then Boston as a home favorite. Boston as a home favorite is slightly above average. They rank 11th best. So I would say the biggest run line advantage that I see is the fact that the Kansas City Royals rank fifth best as a road underdog in baseball. But the biggest disadvantage I would see is that they rank 21st after a win. So that's kind of a wash there. Kind of a wash. But let's look more into this game instead of the trends here. Falter. First game pitching for the Royals today. Left-handed pitcher. Was traded by the Pirates. He hasn't pitched against Boston this season, even when he was with the Pirates. His average pitch count's been 77 this season, which is fine because the Royals do have the ninth best bullpen ERA. I do just want to mention while we're on it, Boston has the second best bullpen ERA. So Boston does have the bullpen advantage. What I'm seeing is that Falter is much worse against left-handed hitters getting hits. When I'm looking at this Red Sox lineup, I only see two true left-handed hitters, Anthony and Duran. Um, Toro's a switch hitter, so he should be batting left, but only three lefties there. Now, he is giving up more home runs to right-handed hitters. So I'm not going to be talking about home runs in this game just for time's sake. Also, it's just not on the home run park list that I've mentioned in previous shows and during this show. But Falter does have a 1.3 home runs per nine inning average, so that's not super high, super low. I could see him giving up a home run though. Okay, so Bayo, projected pitcher for Boston today, right-handed pitcher. Oh, here's an interesting trend if you like Boston here by 2+ runs. I'm thinking I'm probably leaning towards the Royals here, but here's a good thing if you're thinking Boston. Uh, Boston has an 8-5 record at home, money line record at home with Bayo, and they won every single one of those games by 2+ runs. So if you take Boston today, -1.5, and they win the game by exactly 1 run, it would be the first time this season where Boston was at home with Bayo and they won by exactly 1 run. Once again, they're 8-5 at home with Bayo this season and won all of those games by 2+ runs. They won 5 of those games by 5+ runs. 4 out of the 5 games that they did lose at home with Bayo this season, they did lose by 2+ runs. Average pitch count for Bayo has been high. It's been 99 in his last 5, 94 throughout the year. I'm not seeing that left-handed hitters or right-handed hitters are particularly hitting better off of Bayo or worse. It's about even there. Now, Bayo's walks per 9 inning average is getting up there. It's at 3.4, right? Almost at that 3.5 threshold, right? But the Royals rank 30th in team walks per game. What I will say about this Royals team, though, we talk about these numbers and whatnot, but sometimes these numbers can be a little skewed, a little off because of the trade deadline, right? There's trades that happen, so some of these numbers are going to be changing. Um, with that being said, overall, I like the bats that the Royals have added. You know, uh, before the trade deadline, Frazier, Yastrzemski. Um, so there's another guy, but I think, but anyways, bullpen advantage for Boston. Stolen base advantage Royals. If the Royals can get on base, which I think they can, maybe not through walks, right? But I think the Royals can get on base by hitting the baseball because they have 3, 6, 7 guys in this lineup that are batting 250 or better against right-handed pitchers. 7 out of their 9 starters today are batting 250 or better. So, um, and Bayo hasn't been, from my understanding, the greatest at base stealing prevention. Not the worst. His net bases prevented mark is at -1. All right. I think the Royals are Boston has some good hitters today though as well. I do want to mention that they have 6 guys batting 263 or better against the left-handed pitching this season. But with this being Falter's first game, pitching for the Royals, I would think the Royals would want to give him a warm welcoming and come out and play some ball tonight, put up some runs for this guy. Now, when we look at runs per game, I don't really talk about that a whole lot anymore, but runs per game, the Royals have been below average this season in that department. Runs per game on the road. I think even at home they're the worst. Yeah, but let this offense, you know, get back to work here because they picked up a couple of guys. Right, Boston, they score a lot of runs at home this season. They rank fourth best in that department. They do have a couple of guys too that are hitting 333. Bregman is his batting average is 333 against left-handed pitchers, and then Gonzalez is 337. The Royals' top guy against the right-handed Bayo is Garcia at 289. So, man, this is honestly this should be a fun game. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go either way. I'm going to lean towards the Royals here. I like the fact that they technically have a better Monday road record than the Boston does on a Monday home game. I like the fact that the Royals are fifth best in baseball on the run line as a road dog, plus 1.5. Um, but man, I would I would probably, I know it's gonna be like a little juicy, but if I was gonna take Royals plus 1.5, I'd probably just move it to plus 2, depending on that juice. Because once again, Boston, all 8 games that they won at home this season were by 2+ runs with Bayo pitching. Um, I think in order for the Royals to win this game, they are going to need to hit the ball, right? Um, but I think they're going to need to steal some bases. Um, yeah, it's a tough call here, but give me the Royals. I guess plus 1.5. Moving on. Let's see if and usually just so you guys know, usually these shows last about 2 hours. I feel like we're moving a little slow here. Oop, what did I do? Okay. So we still got 8 games left to talk about. Did that Pirates lineup drop yet? Nope. All right. So Cleveland and Mets. This ballpark ranks eighth best with my search criteria on Baseball Savant. Eighth best for left-handed hitters to hit home runs. Now, Swish Analytics has this ballpark ranked average for left-handed hitters to hit home runs. The Mets are 5-1 in Monday home games on the money line, and Cleveland is 1-2 in Monday road games. So the Mets have a much better money line record in Monday home games than Cleveland does in Monday road games. Cleveland as a road dog on that run line ranks seventh best, whereas the Mets as a home favorite on that run line ranks ninth best. So I don't see they both rank 19th after a loss. So I don't see much of a difference here. I guess I'd give the run line advantage over to Cleveland. Saccone, right-handed pitcher, projected to pitch today for Cleveland. Hasn't pitched against the Mets this season. Now Cleveland has a 4-2 record on the road with Saccone. They won 3 out of 4 of those games by 2+ runs. They lost both of the games that they did lose by 3+ runs. Saccone 99 average pitch count in his last 5 games. I do want to mention that both of these bullpens are above average. Cleveland slightly edging the Mets in regards to bullpen ERA. Cleveland ranks 6th. Mets rank 11th. Looks like Saccone is just about even against right-handed and left-handed hitters. So nobody's hitting particularly better or worse against him in regard to that. Saccone, 1.5 home runs per 9 innings. So if you like a left-handed hitter, well, any home run hitter, I should say, but specifically a lefty in this one, since this ballpark I have on my left-handed hitter radar, that's probably where I would be leaning. Just please keep in mind Cleveland has a good bullpen, so I don't know who's projected to pitch today for Cleveland, but I've talked about a source that you could use to find that out. I have to do more of a general search, general research instead of zoning in on one game. So there's there's tons of stuff that you could research on your own time. But I do my best to get you, uh, you know, what I think is quality information. So the Mets, I want to know what left-handed hitter today for the Mets is slugging good against the 41% used four-seam fastball by Saccone. Nimmo slugging 464 against that four. Oh, that's a sweeper. My apologies. That is the sweeper. So, Soto 588 off of that. And he's the lefty, right? Okay, so Soto's slugging 533 off of right-handed pitching this season, and he's slugging 588. One moment, please. One moment, guys. I'll be right back. All right, thank you, guys. Here we are. We're back at it. All right, so yeah, Soto slugging a good percentage off right-handed pitching, good percentage, good ballpark. Um, I'd probably have to lean towards Soto getting a home run here. And then, Alonso is also slugging good off of right-handed pitching. Uh, 527 slugging off right-handed pitching, so just below Soto in that, and then just below Soto and slugging against that four-seam fastball. So what about a slider, which is Saccone's second most used pitch, sitting at 24%. Alonso 472, Soto only 371. So overall, looks like Alonso, just in regards to the pitch arsenal, has the advantage. But I think overall, Soto probably just has a little bit more of advantage in this one. Maybe even I'm thinking maybe even Nimmo. If you were thinking about him, 470 slugging against right-handed pitching, against that slider, which is Saccone's second most used pitch, once again sitting at 24%, slugging that at a 444, and then the four seam Nimmo, he's had better days. Well, it's not terrible. 408 slugging against that specific pitch. So, uh, in the order that I would probably look at this, I'd probably be looking at Soto, Nimmo, Alonso. But even Lindor, there's other. If we could look into so many other things right now, but if I had to pick one, I'd say Soto. All right. Going up against Mania, left-handed pitcher here for the Mets. He's projected to start today for the Mets. hasn't pitched against Cleveland this season. The Mets are 1-1 at home with Mania. They won that game by exactly 3 runs. They lost that only game by exactly 4 runs. Average pitch count for Mania this season's been 76, 76 in his last 5 as well. He has a worse batting average against left-handed hitters, and a worse. He's allowing more home runs to right-handed hitters. All right. Um, and he's throwing. He really relies on that four-seam fastball. He uses that 66% of the time. Jose Ramirez has a 350 batting average against left-handed pitching, which is great. 542 slugging percentage off left-handed pitching. I also just want to see real quick if there's any history that either of these teams have off of these guys here. So Ramirez has 15 at bats against Mania and doesn't have a home run against him. All right. So if you're thinking about Jose Ramirez home run, you got that working against you. And then Nemo, I mean, there's nobody for the Mets that has a big sample size with batting in regards to batting average against Saccone. Okay, so slugging, yeah, Ramirez, Martinez. I would typically want to be going up against or have a left-handed hitter here, but it doesn't look like I'm really gonna see that. Ramirez is a switch hitter. He should be batting right today, going up against a lefty. Same with Martinez. Juan. Let's just go see who's slugging best off this four seam for Cleveland and move on. Jose Ramirez. So I guess if I'd have to pick for Cleveland, it'd be Jose Ramirez. What I will say is Mania only has a 1.0 home runs per 9 inning average, so he's not allowing a whole bunch of home runs, but he hasn't played a whole lot, I don't believe, this season, right? He's had, it looks like he's played in 4 games. All right. So, anyways, I like how the Mets match up in regards to base stealing in this game. They rank ninth in stolen bases per game. Cleveland ranks below average, 16th in stolen bases allowed per game. Cleveland ranks 11th in stolen bases per game, but the Mets allow the second fewest stolen bases per game. All right. I don't know how Mania is with his pickoff move. That information was unavailable on that source that I like to use. Saccone seems like he's doing pretty decent on holding base runners. Um, Overall, I like the Mets batting average, specifically guys like Soto, Lindor, Nimmo, Alvarez, and Alonso against the right-handed pitcher, Saccone, more than I like Cleveland's batting average against Mania. What I will say is that Martinez and Ramirez, it kind of reminds me of this Royals game we were talking about. It's the same situation. Cleveland has less guys with a quality batting average. I'd say around 250 or better, right? Against left-handed pitching, but Ramirez is his batting average is a whopping 350 off of left-handed pitching, and then Martinez sitting at 310. So I just see a little bit more of an advantage here for the Mets. Like we talked about, how they're 5-1 in Monday home games. I'd have to lean towards them on the run line. I wouldn't be surprised to see, uh, you know, kind of close here. Um, Won by well, Cleveland. They did their even though they're 4-2 on the road with Saccone, they lost both of those games by 3+ runs. So, and then what the run line trends, I guess technically favored Cleveland. I guess Saccone on the road has a better record than Mania. Maybe, maybe Cleveland is, maybe Cleveland is the move here. Plus 1.5, but just kind of like the Royals game, right? I think the Mets have to get busy, a little busy on the bases here. Um, maybe hit a home run or two. It's tough for me to pick this one. Um, I think just like the thing that sticks out to me the most is that the Mets are 5-1 in Monday home games. All right, so I'll have to lean towards the Mets here. But I can see Cleveland getting it done. All right, moving on. Milwaukee and Atlanta. So this game we were talking about how it could get rained out, right? Let's go see if there's any updates on that. Let's also go check to see if Pittsburgh's starting lineup dropped. It did. So let's go just make a prediction in that game real quick. Pittsburgh. Let me check the lineup real quick. See who's in. I think I was leaning towards Pittsburgh in this one, right? On that run line. So yeah, I'll keep it that way after seeing their starting lineup. Okay, so what game were we on? Milwaukee and Atlanta. Let's go see if Roto Grinders has an update on that yet. I'm not seeing any update there, but Milwaukee. Let's backtrack here in just a second. Atlanta is a perfect 4-0 in Monday home games on that money line, and Milwaukee's 2-2 in Monday road games. All right. Milwaukee after a win ranks fifth best in baseball on that run line, though, and Atlanta after a win ranks second worst on that run line. And then let's just go check the run line trends when Milwaukee is a road favorite. I'm sure their run line record should be pretty good. Third best in baseball as a road favorite. And then as a home dog, Atlanta is below average. Just off the top of my head, there's some guys out for Atlanta today. I think, if Atlanta, if they were at full strength, they would, be in much better position to get this game. But they do got some guys out. So we got Priester versus Fetty. Priester, right-handed pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, pitched versus. So this game was in Milwaukee that he pitched on June 10th, and Milwaukee won that game 4-1. He did allow 7 hits, but only one earned run, no home runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched. Milwaukee does have a 6-5 road record with Priester pitching, whereas Fetty doesn't have a lot of experience here with this new Atlanta ball club. He was with St. Louis earlier this season, but let's stick to talking about Priester real quick. So interesting trend here. So like Milwaukee lost their first 5 road games with Priester's pitching. Now they've won 6 in a row on the road with this guy. So they have a 6-5 record on the road with him. They won 4 of those games by 2+ runs. They lost 3 games by 2+ runs. His pitch count's been 86. That's been his average in his last 5 games. He's worse against right-handed batting average this season, but worse against left-handed batting average since 2023. So do what you want with that information. He's worse against right-handed hitters hitting home runs. Now, what I do have on my notes here is that this ballpark ranks 10th for left-handed hitting home runs on Baseball Savant, and then it ranks below average on Swish Analytics. So, you know, it's kind of a wash there in regards to, is this a good place to hit a home run or not, right? Um, what is Priester's? Looks like I didn't write this down earlier. What's his? 3.0 walks per nine inning, 1.0 home runs per nine inning. Okay. And then do I have that information for Fetty? Wrote down. Doesn't look like it. Okay. 1.3 home runs per nine inning and 4.1 walks per nine inning, which is high. 4.1. Oh, this is for Fetty. 4.1 BB per nine and 1.3 home runs per nine. Okay. So Fetty was with St. Louis earlier this season, but he's played one game with Atlanta that he lost on the road to Kansas City 9-6. He pitched against Milwaukee twice this season when he was with St. Louis. One was on April 27th, and Milwaukee banged him up a little bit here. Milwaukee won that game 7-1. Fetty pitched 5.2 innings. He allowed 10 hits, 7 earned runs, 0 home runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He also pitched at Milwaukee on June 13th when he was with St. Louis, and Milwaukee won that game 3-2. 5.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, no home runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. He's only pitched 68 pitches on average in his last 5 games. I'm seeing that he's much worse against left-handed hitters hitting home runs, which if you were thinking about taking a left-handed hitter in this game for the Brewers to hit a home run, you got that going for you. I'm looking at my chart here, and somebody I'm looking at is maybe Yelich slugging 519 against right-handed pitching this season. And his batting average against right-handed pitching is 281. Contreras does have 2 home runs off of this guy in 16 at bats, according to rotowire.com. Yelich has 16 at bats, and he's got a great batting average against him, 500. He just doesn't have a home run against him, okay? But I do think that Yelich might be able to get one in the later stages of the game if he doesn't get one early on, because Atlanta does have the 20th ranked bullpen ERA, and Milwaukee, I just want to mention, does have the 16th ranked bullpen ERA. So Milwaukee, in that regard, slightly has the advantage. In regards to bullpen ERA, it's pretty general. So we mentioned, man, that yeah, okay. So this guy walks a lot of people, right? 4.1 walks per 9 inning. Milwaukee ranks 8th in team walks per game. Also, Fetty is terrible at preventing base stealing, from my understanding. And that net bases prevented resource, he's got a -5 mark. Also, I want to just add that Atlanta ranks 27th in stolen bases allowed per game. So they're bad at preventing stolen bases per game. Milwaukee ranks second best in stolen bases per game. So I see a big advantage for Milwaukee right there. This is probably, you know, it's tough, man. It's tough going up against a perfect trend like Atlanta has right here, right? They're 4-0 in Monday home games. But I I think this is like the best spot that I've seen today. I really think that Milwaukee can take advantage of the base stealing here. And Atlanta's not a good base stealing team. Milwaukee's a good at base stealing prevention. I also like the way that Milwaukee's batting average matches up against the right-handed Fetty more so than Atlanta matches up against Milwaukee. So, um, yeah, I like Milwaukee here. Moving on. Oh, wait. No, we wanted to look at a left-handed hitter that hit a home run, didn't we? I mean, yeah, Yelich, but what's Fetty's most used pitch? The sinker. 36% sinker. Does Fetty also have a high home runs per nine inning? Not really. I mean, it's okay. It's getting up there, 1.3 home runs per nine inning. So let's just go see real quick who on this Milwaukee Brewers team is good at slugging against the sinker. Contreras, which is probably why he has 2 home runs off this guy. It makes sense, right? Um, Elich only a 327 slugging percentage against that pitch. So Terang 371, Terang 402 slugging against right-handed pitching. What about his second most used pitch, that 28% used slider? Let's go take a look here. Um, Yelich 444. So I mean, I don't love this spot for a home run. I guess just give me Yelich though, if I were to pick one, just based off the little information that I've looked at. But if you want to go Contreras, I could understand that as well. Just not a spot that I'm looking at for a home run, even though there could be 10 in this game, right? Analytically speaking, not the spot that I'm looking for. All right, so we got Yankees and Texas here. Let me make sure I got some of these tabs closed. I already see myself getting overwhelmed with tabs I have here in my browser. Hope everybody's having a great day. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so Yankees in Texas. The Yankees tired Phil Rizzuto's number 10 on this day, on August 4th in 1985. Also, on this day in 2007, Alex Rodriguez became the youngest player in MLB history to hit 500 career home runs as the Yankees beat the Royals 16-8. So A-Rod used to play with the Yanks and Texas, so that's pretty cool that they're playing each other on this day. The Yankees do have a 2-6 record on Monday road games, whereas Texas is 2-3 in Monday home games. Texas has the second best run line record after a loss in baseball. The Yankees ranked 21st in that department after a loss. Both of these teams lost their previous games. Texas as a home underdog. Texas as a home dog ranks about middle of the pack on that run line, maybe slightly above average there. And then as a road favorite, um, the Yankees are third, sixth worst run line record in baseball. I think just like based off what I'm seeing right here, even though I'm seeing some things in Texas' favor, just in regards to that run line trend and the Monday home game thing that I was talking about, thinking this is a good spot for the Yankees. Okay, so Fareed hasn't pitched versus Texas this season. Projected starting pitcher for the Yankees here today. The left-handed Fareed hasn't pitched versus Texas this season. The Yankees are 7-5 on the road with Fareed pitching. All right, they won 6 of those games by 2+ runs. They won 5 of those games by 4+ runs. They lost 4 games by 2+ runs. His average pitch count is near 100. It's at 97, not just for the season, but his last 5 games. Slightly worse batting average allowed to right-handed hitters this season, but much worse versus left-handed hitters batting average since 2023. Much worse versus left-handed hitting home runs is what I'm seeing here. So if you like a Texas Ranger to hit a home run today, you got that going for you. I'm not going to be covering home runs in this game. Corbin pitched at the Yankees on 5/20. So Corbin's projected starting pitcher for Texas here. He pitched at New York on 5/20 on May 20th. The Yankees won that game 5-2. He allowed 5 hits through 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Texas is 4-5 with Corbin at home this season. They won 3 of those games by 2+ runs. They lost 3 games by 2+ runs. His average pitch count in his last 5 has been 89. Excuse me. Saying that he has a much worse batting average allowed to right-handed hitters, right? So if you like a right-handed hitter today for the Yankees, you got that going for you. Home runs I'm seeing are about even this season with him between lefties and righties, but he's much worse since 2023 against right-handed hitting home runs. So if you like one of these strong Yankee bats for home run today, you got that working for you. Stolen bases per game. I really wouldn't give anybody an advantage. I guess I'd be going with Texas. Let me just check this Yankees starting lineup real quick. This wasn't out whenever I first started. I got Slater in there today, Volpe. So they got 5 guys batting 250 or better against left-handed pitching. And Goldschmidt is batting 392 against left-handed pitching. Batting average I'm talking about here. Bellinger 346. The only, I think, um, the only batter I see that's doing good against left-handed pitching this season for Texas is Haggerty. I do want to double check my work here and go back to the splits leaderboard and filter this by right-handed hitters versus left-handed pitching. And I want to go see Texas. Uh, I want to go see Texas real quick and just make sure that. Well, yeah. I mean, Garcia 198 against left-handed pitching. Langford 216. Yeah, so I think like batting averages. There's some player absences today for Texas. I think the batting averages are lacking a little bit in this matchup for them. I got 5 Yankee hitters that I just got my eye on here versus 1 against Texas. Um, Now I do give Texas the bullpen advantage by a long shot. They rank third best. Yankees rank 22nd. I'd also give Texas a slight, excuse me, a base stealing advantage. Um, I think we talked about Texas has the run line advantage here. There's trends I'm seeing that are in Texas' favor here today, except for the fact one trend that I'm seeing, Fareed, the Yankees have a 7-5 record on the road with Freed, and Texas is 4-5 at home with Corbin. I'm gonna have to lean towards the Yankees here today on that run line. Cincinnati and the Cubs. Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago Cubs. Okay, so today is Soroka's birthday. Projected starting pitcher for Chicago. It would be cool if Brady Singer was pitching for the Cincinnati Reds today because it would be birthday versus birthday. It's Brady Singer's birthday too. All right. So I'm seeing that this ballpark ranks 7th best for right-handed hitters on home runs on baseballsavant.mlb.com. And then Swish Analytics has this ballpark ranked average for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. So I feel like we got to look at home runs a little bit in this one. The wind is coming in from right field, blowing towards that third baseline at about 5.5 to 7.2 miles per hour, which could be a little bit detrimental for hitters. The Cubs, what I will say, although they're 4-1 in Monday home games, okay, on the money line, and Cincinnati is 4-4 on the money line in Monday road games. But the Cubs, after a win, have the worst run line record in baseball, 22-42 on that run line. Okay, so that's bad. But I'm thinking I'm liking the Cubs. Let me just talk this out a little bit more. See, I haven't. I'm analyzing the data that I've collected throughout the day with you guys here in real time. So Cincinnati as a road underdog is a slightly above average on that run line. And then Chicago as a home favorite ranks fifth best. So, anyways, Lodolo, left-handed pitcher today for Cincinnati, projected pitcher, I should say. I don't want to, say, yeah, this pitcher's starting and him not start. Oh, the bettors guy said he was starting. No, the projected starting pitcher today, Lodolo, left-handed pitcher, pitched versus Chicago on 525, and Chicago won that game 11-8. He allowed 6 hits through 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. And then he pitched at Chicago, which that's what this game is, right? He pitched at Chicago on on May 31st, and Chicago won that game 2-0. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, allowed 0 earned runs, 0 home runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Cincinnati's 5-6 on the road this season with Lodolo. Now they did win 4 of those games by 4+ runs. They lost 4 out of 6 games by 2+ runs. Whereas, I don't think I have it for Soroka because this is his first. Hasn't pitched with the Cubs today, dude. So the Cubs have to come out and play, right? You would think it's this guy's birthday. It's his first game with them, playing with them. Okay, but let's look more at the analytics instead of the birthdays and all that stuff. Okay, so Lodolos, who we're talking about. Average pitch count 94. Both of these bullpens ERAs are about even. I would give a slight advantage here to Chicago. They rank 12th. Cincinnati ranks 15th in bullpen ERA. Lodolo 94 average pitch count in his last 5 games. I'm seeing that he's has a much worse batting average against left-handed hitters, but extremely worse against right-handed hitting home runs. And this is a good ballpark for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. So here's a spot where, I'd really be thinking about a right-handed hitting Chicago Cub to hit a home run. This is a good ballpark, or an average ballpark for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. Is there anybody that has a home run off him? Ian Happ and Dansby Swanson. Looks like they have home runs off him. Suzuki has 13 at bats, no home runs. Horner, uh, 0 home runs, 15 at bats. Other than that, everybody else has a relatively small sample size. All right. So let me go look at these starting lineups real quick for the Cubs. There's a lot of guys that I'm liking here for the Cubs in regards to batting average against left-handed pitching. There are 7 guys here that I got my eye on. Yeah, and they're all in. Okay. So I just want to mention if the Cubs do get on base, they rank third best in stolen bases per game, and they have the bats to do it here today. I wouldn't say that Lodolo walks a ton of guys, but he doesn't prevent. He's not great. Typically, it's tougher to steal off of left-handed pitchers. Sorry about that glare, everybody. All right, so yeah, um, usually it's tougher to steal off left-handed pitchers. But from my understanding, he's not that great at preventing base stealing. Cubs rank third in that department. Cincinnati ranks 20th in stolen bases allowed per game, so they're below average in that department. Let's talk a little bit about Soroka, right? It's his birthday. This is his first game with the Cubs this season. I'm thinking the Cubs put up runs for him. Um, pitched versus Cincinnati when he was with Washington. This pitcher on July 23rd. So, what? Just a few days, just like 10 days ago or so. And Cincinnati won that game 5-0 against him. When he was with Washington, he only allowed 2 hits though, guys. 5.2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 0 home runs. He just didn't get any run support. So let's see if that changes today. 82 is his average pitch count in his last 5 games. We already mentioned Cubs slightly edged Cincinnati in that bullpen ERA. He does have a worse batting average against left-handed hitters and worse against left-handed hitting home runs. If you were thinking about taking a Cincinnati Red today for home run, you got that going for you. Not necessarily a spot where I would target, but you know it could happen. Every left-handed hitter for Cincinnati hit a home run. All right, so I got this is probably one of my favorite spots today with the Cubs. I always find something that I don't like about a play, and I think the thing that I don't like the most about the Cubs is that they have the worst run line record in baseball after a win. Other than that, everything else looks good. I don't even think I checked Cincinnati's lineup. Let me see if I got the. Let me see if all these guys that I was thinking about Cincinnati are in today. Yeah, so they got 3 guys batting 287 or better against against right-handed pitching. But once again, Cubs have 7 guys batting 259 or better against left-handed pitching. Also, Horner batting 337 against left-handed pitching. Turner 292, Castro 286, Ellie De La Cruz 300 against that right-handed pitcher for Cincinnati. 292 for Lux and 287 for Friedel. So, yeah, leaning towards the Cubs here. All right, Toronto and Colorado, the game you all been waiting for. All right, so um, Colorado. Today is Orlando Arcia's birthday. Is he in the lineup? No. So, um, who cares? No, I'm just kidding. Shout out Orlando Arcia. Happy birthday, man. Okay, that's glare is bad. Okay, we're back. Sorry, my apologies, guys. I need to go ahead and just get a shade there, don't I? This happens at this time every day. Um, all right, so Toronto ranks. Okay, so the Rockies are 0-3 in Monday home games. Surprise, surprise. They lost each of those games by 3+ runs. Toronto is 4-2 in Monday road games. The Rockies have the worst run line record after a loss. Um, I think I mentioned the Cubs have the worst run line record after a win. Yeah, well, here the Rockies have the worst run line record after a loss. And as a home underdog, the Colorado Rockies have the second worst record in baseball in that run line. And then Toronto as a road favorite. Toronto is slightly below average on that run line, 6-11, slightly below average there compared to the rest of the league. All right, so Lauer is the projected starting pitcher here for the Toronto Blue Jays. Eric Lauer. Hasn't pitched against Colorado this season. Toronto has a 7-4 record with Lauer on the road this year, and they won all of those games by 2+ runs. So if you're thinking about Toronto on the run line today, you got that going for you. You got a lot of things working for you analytically. Won 4 of those games by 3+ runs. His average pitch count has been 83 in his last 5 games. Toronto. I do just want to mention real quick. This is a good home run park for left-handed hitters. It ranks 7th best on Baseball Savant on that source that I like to use, and then it ranks above average on Swish Analytics. Also, I think we talked about that wind earlier about how I'm talking about left-handed hitters here, but that wind looks like it's going to just improve things for even right-handed hitters here. It's blowing 10 to 11 miles, somewhere in that range, 10 to 11 miles per hour towards left field in the altitude. Um, This guy Lauer has a worse batting average against left-handed hitters this season, but much worse versus right-handed batting average since 2003. What I'm seeing here is that he is much worse against right-handed hitting home runs. All right. So I got two guys here that I'm looking at because they have great batting averages against left-handed hitters. Doyle and Beck. Now Beck has a better slugging percentage against left-handed pitchers than Doyle. Beck's slugging at a 589, Doyle 518. So I just want to go over here to that source that I like to look up pitches and how players are slugging against a specific pitch. So I'm looking here, and Goodman against that. That's a slider, right? So I'm looking for that four seam fastball, which is what Lauer relies on 45% of the time this season. So Beck slugging 529 against that pitch. All right. Now you got Warming Bernabel at 583, Moniak at 585, and some other guys. But I really like this batting average for Beck. Man, I am sorry, guys. Terrible. All right. So, um, where was I? Beck. Okay. So what other pitch? Cutter. I'm just kind of looking at Beck versus Doyle. Doyle's not slugging great off of that four seamer, like 313. And then Beck 684 off the second most used pitch by Lauer. Also, these bullpens are not only below average. Well, the Rockies have the third worst bullpen ERA in baseball, but Toronto, although they rank 18th, so not terrible, right? That Toronto's bullpen does allow the fifth most home runs this season. And the Rockies bullpen allows the second most. So there's ample opportunity to go around for players to hit home runs in this game. Now, what I will say is Lauer's home run per nine inning average isn't terrible, and neither is his opponent, the opposing pitcher for the Rockies today, Gordon. But um, you know, there's some opportunity here. Okay, so Colorado is a whopping 2-1 with Gordon at home this season. They won one of those games by exactly 6 runs. The other game was by exactly one. And then they lost that lone loss with Gordon at home this season by exactly 10 runs. His pitch count's been 82. So these guys aren't in the 90s, near in the hundreds, or anything like that. So I do expect these bullpens to come in today and put in some work. Now, what I'm seeing is that Gordon is much worse against right-handed hitters batting average wise. Home runs are about the same. Both of these guys have the same home runs per nine inning average, which is not terrible. Um, these guys aren't walking a whole lot of people either. But let's go double check this Toronto Blue Jay lineup real quick. And make sure that the guys that I'm looking at are in before we move on here, and maybe um, pick a home run hitter in this one. Bichette, VGJ, Barger. I think on Friday's show, I put the analytics aside, right? Some of you may have been with the show or saw the highlights of that. I was like, look, man, analytics aside, I like this Warming Bernabel guy for the Rockies. Here comes that glare. Sorry, guys. I'll just have to get a curtain for that thing before I. Yeah, it'll be on my to-do list. My apologies. Okay, so what bars are? All right, so who's slugging the best out of these guys? Barger against right-handed pitching, slugging 536 out of the guys that I'm looking at, batting a 274 batting average against right-handed pitching. Um, we can see if anybody has any history off these guys. I doubt it, though. A little bit of history here from a couple of these guys. No home runs for the Rockies. No history against Gordon. Okay, so Gordon likes to throw 51% of the time, that four seam. Jeez. All right. 51% of the time, four seam fastball. So let's just go filter this four seam fastball. Toronto Blue Jays. And who's slugging good off of that? Out of all these players that I have here, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 580 slugging against that. He's slugging 442 against right-handed pitching this season. His batting average is 276. Kirk, his batting average is great against right-handed pitching. Um, Bichette, 448. Barger, 419. That's that glare, man. If you want to just put the phone down and not look, I totally understand. Um, Try to wrap this up here pretty soon. We went a little slower today than usual. Anyways, what else does he like to throw? A slider? Whoop! I did not mean to do that. Okay, slider. Barger 488. VGJ. Yeah, man. So I'd be thinking like Barger, VGJ. And maybe even Lucas. How many home runs does Lucas have this year? 9. What about Barger? Batting cleanup today, 16. I like the fact that Barger's a lefty. I have to lean towards Barger and Beck getting home runs in this game. Man. All right. Okay, so anyways, we're going to see a lot of data here that leans towards Toronto, right? But as you guys know, sometimes crazy things happen. Um, so the data is leading me to believe Toronto gets this run line today, and my gut's kind of telling me that as well. So, stolen bases per game. Toronto isn't a very fast team, but they're good at base stealing prevention. The Rockies aren't a fast team either. Yeah, I have to lean towards Toronto in this one. But it's baseball, right? Anything can happen. Okay. See, we got what 3 other games here: Tampa Bay and LA Angels. So all three of these games, let me just go over like home runs a little bit. I'm trying to maybe in the live. We can go a little bit over if we need to. Okay, so for the Tampa Bay and Angels game, this home run park ranks fourth best for right-handed hitters to hit home runs, and then Swish Analytics has it above average for left-handed hitters, but Baseball Savant has it ranked 20th for left-handed hitters. What I'm seeing is Kikuchi, pitcher for the Angels, is much worse against right-handed hitters to hit home runs. So this looks like the ideal ballpark for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. Um, and let's go check the wind. It's blowing out towards right or left center field, which is typically good for right-handed hitters at approximately 4.5 to 6.3 miles per hour, which could give it an extra boost there to sail over the wall. Is there anybody that has any history here against Kikuchi? Looks like Yandy Diaz has a home run off of him. Walls. Yeah, Walls. Okay. So those are probably a couple guys that I'd be looking at. I didn't get a chance to look at these guys' slugging percentage off of left-handed pitching, but let me see if I can just do that real quick. LA Angels slugging percentage off of lefties. We're getting Taylor Ward 615. Joe Adell 567. Oh, that's against. I need to filter this by Tampa Bay, don't I? And that's how you know fatigue setting in a little bit. Um, Andy, 549 slugging. So, what about Kikuchi's most used pitch? That 36% slider. So, if we go over here, filter this by Tampa Bay Rays, and I'm hoping to see Yandy Diaz on this list that's good at slugging against the slider. And it looks like a lot of these guys are Aranda, 563, Caminero, 587. And you got Yandy Diaz at 509. So, oh, man. All right. So, I'd probably be looking at some of those guys, probably Yandy to get a home run there. Good spot for him. He has history against him. It's probably the best spot I've seen today uh, for a home run. Maybe that Rockies game. Kikuchi's not throwing a ton of home runs. 1.2 home runs per 9 inning is his average. I would have liked for that to be a little bit higher. And then San Diego, Arizona. Let me just cover home runs real quick. Shauna Well to hold on for Hauser doesn't look like he's given up a lot of home runs. Okay, the pitcher for Tampa Bay, just to go back to that game real quick, pitcher for Tampa Bay doesn't look like he's allowing a whole lot of home runs. Also, Tampa Bay has a good bullpen. The Angels have the fourth worst bullpen ERA. All right, and they have allowed the most home runs this season to opposing teams. So I think there is plenty of opportunity here for Tampa Bay to smack a home run. Um, and then Hauser has a worse batting average and is allowing more home runs to right-handed hitters. So I'm thinking Renhefo or Sean Well maybe are they righties? Let me just check. Sean Wells a lefty, and Renhefo is not in today. So I think we saw like Adele, right, or Ward would probably be the guys that I'd be looking at. Okay, I can't just go over every single uh, little detail that I want to with you guys, but that's kind of the direction I'd be looking in. Hopefully, some of this information is helpful for you. Okay. Um, Ranks eighth best for right-handed hitters to hit home runs, below average on Swish Analytics is what I'm seeing for this Arizona Diamondbacks game. So if I were to lean towards a home run hitter, I'd probably go with a righty for um, San Diego. Yeah, fought 1.5 home runs per 9 inning allowed. Arizona's bullpen is bad. Pitch arsenal 28% four seam fastball for the Diamondbacks. Let me look at four seam fastball and filter that. Who's good for this Diamondbacks team, or excuse me, that Padres team? Hitting that four seamer that now, Font does have a little bit more of a diverse pitch arsenal here. Okay, it's only at 28%, so he likes to use some other pitches. But Machado's looking 625 off of that pitch. He's also batting 315 batting average wise off of right-handed pitching. So I'd be interested. I'm sure his slugging percentage is probably good against right-handed pitching as well. Um, and then Arise, Tatis. I haven't confirmed that these guys are in the lineup yet. I'm just kind of trying to give you maybe some home run ideas if you're interested in that. I personally don't like to play home runs a whole lot unless I see something that I absolutely love. Okay, that's just kind of the way I like to play, anyways. So, Machado sinker 523 slugging. Loriano if he's in the lineup. 646 slugging against that sinker, which he likes to use. This opposing pitcher fought. Tatis again, 714 off the 22% sweeper. Uh, so yeah, I think you're in a good spot here if you're thinking for a San Diego player to hit a home run today. Maybe could be a little bit more ideal conditions, but I think it's okay. And then the last game here, we got what the Dodger Stadium. Man, this is probably the game that I would maybe be targeting. This or the Rockies game. But this is a good home run park, right? So it ranks first best for right-handed hitters, third best for left-handed hitters. It ranks above average for right-handed hitters on Swish Analytics, and it ranks average on Swish Analytics for left-handed hitters. So I'm seeing that right-handed hitters probably have a little bit more of a advantage here in this game. Also, Sonny Gray, the pitcher for the Cardinals, projected pitcher for the Cardinals, has a worse, is allowing more home runs to right-handed hitters. And then Glass now is allowing more home runs to lefties. Okay. So hopefully that helps you a bit there. Gray isn't throwing a ton of home runs. 1.1 home runs per 9 inning. Glass now is actually 1.6. So I'd be maybe thinking about a St. Louis Cardinal here hitting a home run. Specifically a left-handed St. Louis Cardinal to hit a home run. Also, although the Dodgers have the 19th ranked bullpen ERA, which isn't terrible, right? They have allowed the third most home runs this season. And that makes sense when you're playing at a home run friendly park. So, I'd maybe just check out the slugging percentage for some of the left handed Cardinals and then go to baseballsavant.mlb.com and look to see if you're interested in doing more research with it, and just kind of look to see who is um, 40% four seam is what Glass now likes to throw. So that's a pretty popular pitch for him, 40%. So we should know, what's kind of coming here. And when we look at left-handed hitters for the Cardinals, Donovan, Burleson, Newtbar, let me see. Donovan slugging 578 against that four-seamer. Burleson 533. Newtbar only 328. And then what about that 22% used slider there by Glass now? Um, Burleson 595. Um, what about Donovan only 300? Yeah, I'd probably be looking for like Burleson or Donovan against Glass now. And let me just see if anybody has any history off of that guy. Not really. So, uh, anyways, it's probably where I'd be leaning towards for home runs for the rest of these games. And then Tampa Bay is 2-1 in Monday road games. The Angels are 4-1 in Monday home games. After a loss, Tampa Bay ranks 13th on the run line, 13th best after a loss, and the Angels rank 15th on the run line after a win. And when we're talking about the away underdog, Tampa Bay, they rank second best in baseball on that run line. And then the Angels, as a home favorite, rank below average on that run line. I'm also just kind of just looking at this. I'm kind of leaning towards Tampa Bay here. Okay, on that run line. But let's look into it a little bit more here instead of just um, Hauser hasn't pitched with Tampa Bay this season. He was traded by the White Sox. Hasn't pitched against the Angels this season. His average pitch count this season has been 85, or excuse me, 88 in his last 5 games and 91 throughout the season. He has a worse batting average and home runs allowed to right-handed hitters. Okay. Um, there's just not much I'm liking with the Angels here today. And then Kikuchi. Um, Pitched at Tampa Bay on 4-9, and Tampa Bay won that game 5-4. So Tampa Bay edged out a win against Kikuchi earlier this. Excuse me. Um, yeah, Tampa Bay edged out a win against Kikuchi earlier this season, way early in April. Kikuchi, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. The Angels do have a good record with Kikuchi at home, 8-4. They won 5 of those games by 3+ runs. They won 4 of those games by exactly 3 runs. The games that they did lose, 2 of them they lost by exactly 1 run, and then the other 2 they lost by 2+ runs. All right. Pitch count for Kikuchi's been 96, not just throughout the season, but in his last 5 games. He's worse versus right-handed batting average and much worse against right-handed hitting home runs. We've said that. We need to mention that he has a high walks per 9 inning average is at 3.8. Although Tampa Bay is not a great team at drawing walks, they aren't terrible. They rank 23rd in team walks drawn per game. Kikuchi looks like he's done a decent job at preventing base stealing. Okay, um, but this Tampa Bay team does rank first in stolen bases per game. Um, the Angels ranked 20th in stolen bases allowed per game. So I think, Tampa Bay could swipe some bags here today. I like the bats and how the batting averages, specifically from Simpson, Aranda, Diaz, and Walls. Let's just make sure that those guys are in as well. Diaz, Simpson is not in, is not projected to be in. Aranda is not projected to be in, so this changes things for me, man. I think it could be a little bit closer than what I originally thought with those 2 guys being out. I'd still have to lean towards Tampa Bay on the run line. Don't feel great about it. All right. And then we have the San Diego Arizona game. San Diego is 4-3 in Monday road games. Arizona's 3-3 in Monday home games. Arizona, after a win, has the sixth best run line record, whereas San Diego has the ninth best. Okay. And then when we filter this by San Diego as a road favorite, as a away favorite, San Diego is below average in that department. They're near the bottom of the league. And then Arizona as a dog, home dog, is also near the bottom of the league. I would give San Diego a slight advantage there, but Arizona a slight advantage when it comes to the run line after a win. All right, so we got Sears, left-handed pitcher, is projected to pitch here today for the Padres versus the right-handed pitching Fought. Sears hasn't pitched with his new team yet. He was traded by the Athletics, and he hasn't pitched against Arizona at all this season. His average pitch count is 86, and I think it is. Okay, he's with San Diego. So he's worse against left-handed hitters in regards to batting average, and then he's worse against right-handed hitters in regards to home runs. We talked about this ballpark possibly being a good ballpark for right-handed hitters to hit a home run, and if you like a right-handed hitter today for the Arizona Diamondbacks, I think just the fact that Sears is worse against the right-handed hitters in regards to a home runs allowed. You got that working for you. His home runs per 9 inning average is also high. It's at 1.9 home runs per 9 inning. So this guy's throwing home runs. But look, the San Diego bullpen ranks first in bullpen ERA. So just please keep that in mind. Fought pitched at San Diego on 7-9, and Arizona won that game 8-2. All right. He he did very well against this Padres team. Four hits through 8 innings allowed, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Arizona does have a 6-5 record at home with Fought pitching and won all of those games by 2+ runs. They only lost 2 of the games that they did. The 2 out of 5 games that they did lose at home with Fought pitching, they lost those by 4+ runs. The other 3 games were by exactly 1 run. Average pitch count for Fought, 93 in his last 5. I think it's going to be extremely important for him to reach that again here today because Arizona does have the 26th worst bullpen ERA. They rank 26th in bullpen ERA. Once again, San Diego ranks first. We already talked about this. Worst batting, or if we didn't, here we go. He has the worst batting average against left-handed hitters, and home runs are about even. I may have misspoke earlier when I said something about San Diego home runs, right-handed hitter home runs. But home runs are about even. I can't remember exactly what we were talking about there. But this guy does have a high home runs per nine inning average. It's at 1.5 as well. So um, I would be looking for maybe a right-handed hitter in this one. I think we talked about like what Machado, Laureano. Um, but I'm not going to get into all these pitch arsenals and things of that nature in this game. Okay, really just because Swish Analytics has this ballpark ranked below average for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. Um, Even though Baseball Savant has this ranked as eighth, there's two different criteria. Baseball Savant uses kind of a different uh, algorithm, a different measuring tool to judge um, if a park is a good home run park or not. Okay, and then the last one, we already talked about the St. Louis one, St. Louis and Dodgers. So. Um, this is a great ballpark for home runs. We already talked about the home runs. Now, Dodgers are 5-2 in Monday home games. The Cardinals are 2-5 in Monday road games. All right. St. Louis is better on the run line after a loss. They rank 14th. Then the Dodgers are after a win. They rank 25th. Now, St. Louis as a road dog is below average on that run line, whereas the Dodgers as a home favorite uh, are about average, okay? Maybe a little above average. Sonny Gray pitched versus the Dodgers on 6-6, and St. Louis did win that game 5-0. He did allow 8 hits, so the Dodgers got hits off this guy. They just didn't score runs uh, back in back in June on June 6th. He lasted 6.1 innings, no home runs allowed, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Now St. Louis is 4-4 on the road with Sonny Gray this season, and they did win all of those games by 2+ runs. On the flip side, they lost all of those games by 3+ runs. So if you're thinking about going one way or another, either team by 2+, you got that going for you. Sonny Gray, 69 pitches in his last 5 games, 82 throughout the season. St. Louis does have a good bullpen ERA, so if he were to come out of the game, just based on that general statistic, bullpen ERA, I think they'll be okay. But there's always, we talk about how important this bullpen is, and and how important this this bullpen usage by team source that rotowire.com has. It could be so valuable, and it's free, and um, there's other sources out there too. There's other websites, so it's not like I work for these guys or anything like that. Just so you guys know, there's other sources out there. It's just the first one that comes up whenever I type it into my specific search engine. Okay, so Gray, average pitch count. We talked about that. He has a worst batting average this season. We already talked about all that. Worst against right-handed hitters to hit home runs. Don't know if we mentioned that. Now, Sonny Gray doesn't have an extremely high home runs per 9 inning average, but I think, there could be a guy that, can hit a home run off him here. Will Smith, I just want to mention this batting 336, batting average against right handed pitching. Freeman, 329. Uh, Pajes, 270. Otani, 268. Those are just batting averages, though, anyways. Let me go check something. Dodgers 3-2 home record with Glass now this season. They won 2 out of 3 of those games by 5+ runs. They lost both of the games that they did lose at home with Glass now this season by exactly 2 runs. Okay. Pitch count for him has been 76, and I think it's extremely important for Glass now to get above or near that mark or at the same mark, because this Dodgers bullpen does rank 19th in bullpen ERA. Um, this guy Glass now walks a lot of batters and he allows a decent amount of home runs per 9 inning. Okay, St. Louis is decent at drawing walks. They rank 18th in team walks per game. Now they're not a super speedy team. I think when in regard to like stolen bases per game and stolen bases allowed per game, this is a pretty even matchup. I would give the Cardinals an advantage simply because Glass now has a -1 net bases prevented mark, and Gray has a +4. Okay. Um, Let me check these starting lineups real quick. Give a prediction and let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys for joining. Donovan, Burleson, Herrera, Wynn are all in. And I don't think. Oh, Muncy? Muncy's in for the Dodgers? Has he been in? He could return Monday, dude. I'm seeing that he's in. All right. So I think that's what the Dodgers really need, man. They were missing months. All right. But they got him in here today. Paez and Otani. Um, mm, um, I guess I'd have to lean towards the Dodgers on the run line here. I like their record in Monday home games compared to the Cardinals. They have a better record with their starting pitcher at home than the Cardinals do with their starting pitcher on the road. I like the fact that they got Muncy back, and that's about it. I mean, I see if you want to take Cardinals, I can't really bash you for that though. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys for joining. I'll make an announcement whenever we're doing another baseball show. It takes a lot of time for me to prepare for these, so um, I don't know if I'll do one tomorrow. Just kind of depends how I'm feeling, because I don't want you guys to get a version of me that's not uh, enthusiastic to do the work. So I'll make an announcement. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's just check the weather one more time before we leave here. I think I forget to do that sometimes. Do I see anything? I don't see anything about this game we were talking about that could possibly get rained out. Oh, it looks like they're playing right now, that Brewers game. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks again. Take care. Uh, Thank you for listening to the Not Move podcast.